Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight we have a really great program. Marilyn's been working on it for literally months, and I'm really excited to bring her out and introduce you to her. I know that there are a lot of people on this call tonight that are new and that have never met myself, Joy Roby. I'm Joy Roby, or Marilyn Harper, who I'll bring out in a minute, or Adironnda. And I do think that Adironnda will have a message for us at the end. So welcome to three life-threatening mistakes conscious women make that destroy their health and quicken their aging process. Yes, that's a long title, and it pretty much covers what we're going to talk about. And I think the really fun thing is that you're going to know some of this stuff and you're going to go, I know that, which Adironnda likes to say, those are the three most dangerous words on the planet, because when you say, I know that, that's usually what you need to know right then and there. So without any further ado, I'd like to bring out my business partner and my best friend, Marilyn Harper. Are you with us, Marilyn?
I certainly hope I am. Oh, the luminescent hair. Put on your sunglasses. Three life-threatening mistakes conscious women make that destroy their health and quicken their aging process. I mean, that's a pretty intense statement right unto itself. First of all, I would love to welcome all of you, all y'all. I, I am seconds ago. I had no sound, so I had the opportunity to go into coherence, of which we'll do tonight, to go into that place of balance and relaxation to accommodate using some of our tools to accommodate exactly what we're going to talk about this evening. I want to thank each of you for spending your Wednesday night with us, or spending wherever you are with us, whether it's tomorrow or the next day or the next day, for this class. And we're going to give you some really good, juicy information that you can indeed. I'm going to take my earring off because I can hear it rattling right now. Um, we're going to give you some really good, juicy information that you can use right now, that you can accommodate into your life and activate into your life right now, and start doing this tonight, tomorrow, to help yourself be healthier. You know, uh, I'm also going to give you a special offer at the end. So, and some channeling at the end. So please wait all the way to the end. I mean, I know that it's we're here and it's a Wednesday night and it's a school night, and even when we don't have school the next day, it's still a school night, right? And did you ever notice that? and and it's so exciting to talk about holographic healing too. We did holographic healing 1 last fall. It was a smashing success. It was so fun. We spent 21 days, 20 days, every single day with, I don't know, up to 150, 200 people. I don't know how many we had on. And we decided that that was a little intense. So we're going to give you a special offer at the end of the night as to how you can shift your consciousness and possibly change your life. So I just want to give you that information. But before we get there, I am going to give you 3 ways that you can shift your consciousness, 5 things that you can do right now to make a difference in your world, and uh, 5 ways that you can pay attention to your health, shift your consciousness, find the core of those challenges in your world, and move forward in an enlightened fashion with ease and grace and love and compassion and lots of fun and laughter. Is that okay? I certainly hope so. Um, this will be recorded, so you'll be able to watch it again tomorrow or the next day or whenever. Um, the, and if you have questions, I would like you to kind of hold them until the end, because we may answer it when we get through this. Um, it's it, Adironnda will come on at the end and take question and answer. And we'll do an activation, an actual download. I know this may sound really strange, but we're going to do a download into your brain regarding the software of your own health. We've done this before in meditations for our 21-day programs. 21 days to freedom from addiction, 21 days to optimal health. And it has been so successful. We're not going to wait till the program to do it. We're going to do it right now, just for you. So first of all, just so I can kind of know where we're going and what we're doing, if you could find the chat window on your screen. It's down at the bottom. If you click chat, then I think something pops open and you can type into it. I would like you to type into it, "Hi, how you doing?" And if you're working on something specific, a physical ailment, diverticulosis, diverticulitis, a degenerative disc disease, macular degeneration, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, challenges with your pancreas, challenges with your kidneys, challenges with your bladder, challenges with your muscles. Have you been diagnosed with something specific? Uh, uh, are you working on something that is necessary? Are you depressed? Are you, what are you working on? And that will help us give direction into the activation at the end. So, and Joy's going to keep track of that, right, Joy? Yes, Joy's going to keep track of it and kind of take a little hash note so you can give us a little report as to what we need to work on and what we need to activate. I don't know that I can see the chat window. Oh, I see them coming in. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. The holographic healing is really based upon you. But before we get into that, I would just like to give you a little bit of information about aging. You know, I- we're all theoretically aging. I spent the weekend this weekend with Lee Carroll, Cryon, in Minneapolis, and uh, he said he hasn't aged in years. He says, "Well, I only age, like once a week or once a month, and I age for a day or whatever." You know, everything is energy, and intention is everything, and that's his intention. But for the rest of us, there's several ways that you can slow down the aging process, and there's several factors that you can pay attention to see if your aging is quickening. I did quite a bit of research during holographic healing level 1, uh, and I've done research since this because this is a part of my passion, um, teaching people to heal themselves and helping them learn how to do that. And in doing that, I looked at uh, what are symptoms of aging, and it got me a little depressed. According to Dr. Oz, he's that most famous doctor, and um, the American Fitness Professionals and Associates, they say that there's about 10 symptoms that you might want to pay attention to as symptoms of rapid aging. So take a deep breath because I'm going to tell you what they are. Uh, the first was cotton mouth. I thought, cotton mouth? Are you kidding me? Yes, cotton mouth, especially when you wake up, is actually a symptom of a bigger disorder. It's a symptom of sleep apnea. It's a symptom of a breathing problem. It's a symptom of not getting airflow through your body. And sleep apnea is a relatively new disease that they've diagnosed in the last 30 or 40 years, I believe, and they've discovered that it is a direct influence to pulmonary hypertension. So if you snore a lot, if you wake up and go to the bathroom several times a night, if you feel like you could go to sleep during the day or wake up with cotton mouth, you might think about that because that um, quickens the aging process. Red eyes, not in the 70s, red eyes, but red eyes, like bloodshot eyes. Believe it or not, that's a symptom of arthritis. And any kind of inflammation in the body uh, sometimes stimulates the body to develop arthritis, which is a swelling of the joints. And believe it or not, you can have arthritis around your eye muscles. And that's what causes the arthritis in your body, causes the redness in your eyes, which will indeed quicken the aging process. Now, I'm going to tell you how to work on all of these. But first, I want to just give you this information because you may or may not be feeling this information. And if you are, you want to be aware of it so you can do something about it. Gray skin or graying skin. You always talk about people and hear them talk about, oh, that healthy glow. When we did a retreat in Grace Grove in Sedona, they all were like, had glowing eyes and their skin was glowing. And it had to do with their eating habits. And it had to do with their waste in their body. Graying skin actually is a result of the kidneys not cleansing the body like they should. So if you look at pictures of yourself and, a year ago or 2 years ago, and you had rosy pink cheeks and all of this, and now you look at yourself and you just think, I look so tired. I look gray. You might drink more water. Out of blue bottles works very well, but you might pay attention to your kidney level because that can get very dangerous very quickly. Another sign of aging, and quite honestly, I thought this was, just a part of getting older, but it's not. It's a symptom of something deeper. When you lose your sense of smell. Now, I know years ago in the 70s, I was a smoker and I didn't smell very well. But then when I stopped smoking, my sense of smell came back. But when you lose the sense of smell, that's actually a symptom of a much more serious disease, possibly Parkinson's or any degenerative nerve disorder. So you want to pay attention to that right away, and take action on it right away because it could get very serious very fast. And one of the ways that you can test your sense of smell is by holding a little cotton ball or something with rubbing alcohol, and you hold it in front of your, your lower abdomen, or in front of your, as Adironnda calls it, your belly button, uh, and then raise it up to your nose, and when you should be able to smell it very clearly about 8 to 12 inches away from your nose. So that's a test that you can do for that sense of smell. And it also is can be a sign of much more serious illnesses. This one I thought was very funny because uh, a sign of aging is hairless toes and hairless feet. Now, I know you women out there, you do everything you can to not have a hairy body, which is crazy, but you do a lot to cleanse the hair off of your body. But did you know that hairless toes are a sign of a vascular disease or a sign of uh, our clogged arteries, and so because the body's not getting, or clogged hair follicles, the high cholesterol, the body's not getting enough flow through there to grow the natural hair that you have on your feet. So, that will age you quicker. So I know that you are going to pay attention to your toes and start investigating the hair on your toes. And while you're down there, investigate bumps on your toes. Like if you've ever seen me in person, I have what I call a power toe, um, a hammer toe, that one toe is a wild hair and goes different places. That's not what I'm talking about. But a bump on your toe in between the knuckles. Um, Believe it or not, that's a sign of what could be a very serious illness, lung cancer, or another cancer in another part of your body. So pay attention to your feet. They are your foundation. Adironnda always says that your feet are a part of your foundation. So, rub lotion on them every night and thank them for giving you service and be grateful for them because they are your foundation. Check to see if you've got any hair on them. Check to see if you've got any additional bumps on your feet. I mean, you can Google bumped toes, bumps on toes, and the symptom of that. It's quite amazing. Um, this may be kind of scary to all of you because we're talking about a lot of diseases, and however, they're very prevalent. The uh, U.S. especially it's like a multi-billion-dollar industry, the medical industry, and the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies are like running our world, and so that's kind of why it's time that we take back our power. It's time that we uh, I'm never going to tell you that you don't need to go to a traditional doctor or an alternative doctor, but it's time to really learn to look at our bodies ourselves. Look at our toes. Look at what's going on with our feet. If you have a strong callus on the inside of your big toe, that could be a sign of a thyroid imbalance. So your feet are very, very telling. Well, so are your hands about what's going on in your body. Another sign of aging that a lot of people experience at a young level is a loss of hearing. And they think, oh, well, I'm getting older. I just lose my hearing. Or I had too many rock concerts in the 70s or the 60s or whatever, however old you are. Um, I think my hearing was damaged at a Jerry Jeff Walker concert in 1974. But that can also be a sign of a much more serious illness. Um, so if you have a hearing loss, especially at a young age, you might check Alzheimer's, check mental, the parts of the brain. And we're going to get in holographic healing too. We get into the parts of the brain and what they do. And the parts of the brain, part of the brain works on your immune system, part of the brain works on your hearing, part of the brain works on your sight, part of the brain works on your long-term memories, part of the brain works on your short-term memories. And if something is out of balance, like your hearing, that's a signal that something else is going on. So, if you get nothing else out of this class tonight, then listen to your body and pay attention. Uh, please do, because a loss of hearing can be directly related to um, uh, uh, a more serious illness. And it might be as simple as taking a supplement of magnesium that's going to help that. It might be a simple fix. So understand that just because we are acknowledging this energy does not mean that we're creating it in our bodies. Another thing that happens to people when they age, and this one I particularly paid attention to because I've noticed that with me is to have droopy eyelids or like little fatty deposits around my eyes. It's like, oh, what does that mean? Well, it could show a thyroid imbalance or a thyroid disorder. Uh, and if you also have the rough part on the inside of your big toe, you might want to pay attention to that. You know, Another thing that ages us is to be in a constant state of stress. Uh, we're going to talk a little more later about stress and what you can do about it. But when you look in the mirror, do you think, oh my gosh, what am I looking at? Do I feel stressed out? Are my wrinkles really bigger than they really are? Are they not smile lines anymore? Stress actually causes your telomeres to get shorter. And telomeres are little fibers in the body that lengthen the aging process or shorten the aging process. And when your telomeres are shortened, which the quickest way to shorten them is through stress, then the aging process actually quickens. You know, Stress is directly linked to chronic fatigue. It's directly linked to heart disease. It's directly linked to premature aging. And it all has to do with your attitude. It's also directly linked to being overweight or underweight stress. And I found that being overweight or underweight, either way, is aging you. Um, you know, of course, drinking and smoking are the obvious things or having no exercise are the obvious things that add to the aging process. But actually, there's a lot of discussion about age and health, especially right now, because I think the public is is challenging the health professionals. I think the public is challenging alternative health methods. I think the public is looking to take back their power and to take back their control. And I read one article by Dr. Furman, Richard Furman, who wrote The Prescription of Life or Prescription for Life. Um, I'll have to find that out. And he said that almost all aging processes, when you're aging early, is due to clogging or a plaque in the arteries. And plaque and clogging in the arteries is capitalized by stress. And so I've told you all the ways that you can age more quickly, all the symptoms. If you wrote all those down, please don't get too involved in that emotionally, because you can start imagining things. But that's the problem. And I really want to talk about solutions tonight. You see, that's why I got through the problem really fast, because I think that so many times we look at what's happening in our life and we start the blame game. We start capitalizing on the pain. We start capitalizing on the problem. And that really does no good at all. When we feel sick or in pain, or whether it's physical or emotional, it seems like people focus on the pain. The number 3 product, the number 3 life-threatening problem is that we are not aware of how we're treating ourselves. We're not aware of it. We're not conscious of, how many times do you say, oh, my back hurts so bad? Or, oh, I always have a headache. Or if I could only if I could only slow down my job, I wouldn't feel so stressed out. Or if I could only make time to walk, I wouldn't feel so stressed out. If I could only, you know, that's a part of the problem. And that's why we talked about the awareness bracelet in the introduction, and when you got information about this is the awareness bracelet. Now, these are awareness bracelets from our website. I did have an awareness bracelet that each of you some of you may have purchased, which they're still available to purchase, aren't they, Joy? Are they still available to purchase?
Yeah, the link is available. It's technically supposed to just be through the webinar tonight, but I'll put the link up in a little bit. If there's anybody online that that didn't buy one that still wants one, I can put the link up so that they can access it.
Do
I mean,
you
it
have
is a
one?
good deal. Yeah, I've got one. I've got mine right here. Of
Can you?
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave
There it
mine
is.
away.
Yep. No, I actually have 3 of them on.
I do
You know,
too.
like anytime somebody sees us, they know that, I mean, we give them away all the time to people because we witness them having a really negative habit, and in a very loving way we tend to say here and explain to them how it works. And that's why we did this special around the awareness bracelet, was so that as many people could have one as possible, because it really is a great tool. We use ours all of the time. You'll always see us with at least one, if not 3 or 5.
And you know, the key is, and you can take any bracelet, but you know, one of the things that will help you um, in life-threatening challenges to your health is to simply be aware. Is to simply be aware of the purchase orders that you are sending out to the universe. Every thought, you know, science has now backed it up. Every thought comes from your heart, which goes to the brain, which goes out into the field, which is exactly what you're creating then. And so all of that comes in that energy. So the awareness bracelet, it just simply helps you be aware. That's why it's called an awareness bracelet. I'm going to ask each of you whether you get a bracelet or not. If you want to get the bracelet, you can get it, the beautiful rainbow bracelet of transformation like Joy has, or you can also get these, but not these for the special price. If you want to get one, I want to do a 21-day challenge for all y'all, that you don't have a negative thought about yourself, your body, your health, or anyone else around you for 21 days. So that's the objective. So every time you have a negative thought, you change your wrist on your bracelet. And then you have another negative thought and you change your wrist again on your bracelet. Now, keep in mind the first day you're going to change it 152 times in an hour, and that's why they're elastic. and and then you'll realize that you've gone a whole day without changing your bracelet. That's day 1, and then day 2 and day 3. So that's the awareness. I think that if you're aware of how many times you have a stressed out negative thought, every thought is a purchase order. You know, I'm going to use the example that I experienced in the last hour. I I have very big energy. I know some of you on here have never met me before. You have no idea. You think, who is this person? She looks like a cartoon with luminescent hair. Which we can't do anything about that. But um, I, I was today. I took my mother to the doctor 3 hours away. She's 95 years old, and I have to say, she uses the tools that we have. She uses what we do. She she was talking to me on the way there, and she said, "Well, I've let go." She was diagnosed with diverticulosis and extreme arthritis in her back. And that was her doctor's diagnosis. And she says, "Well, I've been working on moving out all of my old stuff. I've been working on releasing and healing and letting go." She actually used one of our selenite swords of light that we use, and it helped the pain. So, but I'm telling you that to let you know that I've been all over the state of Kansas today. And I just got home last night or this morning from Minneapolis. And so as I was thinking about this class, I was getting a little stressed. And when Joy and I got on the computer, I had no sound on my microphone. I had nothing. And Joy, of course, being the calm person that she is, said, "Well, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? Did you do that?" And I said, "No, I didn't. I did. I did this. I didn't do that." And I stopped. And she said, "Well, restart your computer." Well, I restarted my computer, which with my computer, because everything in my brain is on my desktop, it takes about 10 minutes to restart my computer. And that gave me the time to just breathe, just go into coherence, which will take you into coherence a little later. Um, it gave me the time to acknowledge all the joy that I have in sharing this wonderful information, and and how excited I am to help people learn to heal themselves. And I just breathed into that, and so of course when everything came up, it all worked perfectly. And uh, that's that's what stress can do, and that's what awareness of that stress can do. So you really, you know, believe it or not, according to all studies, stress isn't the number one cause for almost all illness, and awareness of what to do in stressful situations distracts, detracts from that illness. So, what we're going to teach you tonight is how to go into coherence and how to be aware of what you're doing. So, with the bracelet, that's awareness. That's the first step. That's the first step for anything, is awareness of where your patterns lie. You know, I've discovered that in in many situations I'm cool as a cucumber. And in certain situations, they trigger something within me. So I've gone back into the Akashic records to find out what they trigger. That's another thing that we're going to talk about tonight. And I'll teach you how to get into the Akashic records easily and effortlessly. So the number 3 mistake that you make is not being aware, not having that awareness. And we're helping you be aware of your patterns, your habits, your issues, so you can make that shift and make that change. The number 2 thing that keeps you unhealthy and quickens your aging process is that we don't really we're not trained, most of us are not trained in an emotional clearing technique. We come into this world, we're visitors on this planet, and half of the people that we deal with are not really even from this planet. And and we are thrown into a situation many times that is so intense that we're imprinted and we program, and we have no tools to get to deal with this. We have no effective tool to deal with the health ailments that we are experiencing, aside from, surgery, cut it out, deaden it, take heavy drugs to deaden the pain, and or uh, uh, just stuff them back inside. And light workers, people that are awake, have a tendency to stuff things back inside. They are they want to stay calm, centered, or they want to appear to stay calm and centered. So they just push it down. Well, the emotion is still present. And that emotion that's still present is what causes dis-ease. That emotional content is 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 what that's what happens with the dis-ease that's in the world. And anger is a cause of cancer. Um, you know, fear of lack of control is a cause of Parkinson's. Every dis-ease has an emotional component. And we're really not given any tools to deal with that. Light workers, light plurkers, play plus work equals plurk. Light plurkers are beginning to come up with it, but in preparing for this class, I Googled some things. Uh, the best way to deal with stress, I Googled that. The best way to deal with pain. The best way to deal, you can Google anything, right? I love Google. Don't you love Google? So this is what I went through. Best way to deal with stress, best way to deal with pain, best way to deal with depression, best way to deal with chronic back pain, best way to get younger, best way to deal with heart pain, best way to deal with muscle pain, best way to deal with digestive disorders. And you know, just reading through all those lists causes me to to go a little bit into a challenging situation. Do you know what they all said the best way to deal with all of those illnesses? Meditation, spiritual practice, connection, um, connecting to your core, connecting to your center. I actually have some pictures, if I can get to them, that I would love to share with you about what your brain looks like on drugs. No, what your brain looks like during and after meditation. That's one tool that you can have that will help you overcome, release, and heal almost any illness. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen. Um, Now, it may get really scary for a moment, but I'm sure Joy can walk me through it. Share my screen. Uh, that's the scary.
Bingo. You did.
Did I do it? You can see my
Yep.
screen?
Yep. Good job.
Oh, good. Do I need to play the video or anything? Or the,
I didn't know it was a video, but yeah, you can
I mean,
try
it's
it.
not a video, it's a slide. Do I need to do anything to it? Does it look okay?
It's big, but it's good.
Okay,
We get
so
the idea.
this is from Dr. Oz, and he was actually working with um, a, a medium and an intuitive healing practitioner, which he's taking what we're doing mainstream, right? And this is a picture of someone's brain before and after meditation. You can see the baseline on the left, and you can see the places all the yellow and the red get larger uh, to accommodate that that process of balance in the brain. This is another doctor's picture. I believe this is Dr. Furman, and this is not a brain. It's just a picture of the brain waves, but it's not an actual brain. But you can see on the left, the far left, that that the energy is unintelligible, unbalanced brainwave pattern, restricted thought processes, prone to anxiety. How the red in this picture is a good thing, because that is a heat source. And then as your 15 minutes of meditation, you see how with just 15 minutes of meditation, your brain comes into a place of coherence and harmonizes and balances both hemispheres. You see on the left, everything's kind of wacky and rolling around and out of sorts. Then on the far right, after 25 minutes of meditation, you see how it's all perfectly symmetrical. The energy, as an energy heat source reading in your brain, is completely balanced. So it is about working in sync with making your communication of your thoughts, information, responses more effort, effortless efficiency, coherence. Um, it it's it, it's a powerful energy of emotional balance in just meditation. Um, Here's another picture. This is regarding the pain centers of the brain, where it was a study that a person who is experiencing pain, it shows up as those little yellow spots in the brain. When they're in rest and pain, they still have the yellow spots, but when they go into meditation and pain, still have pain, but the yellow spots in their brain goes down, and so does their pain level. So that energy that is happening there is about uh, taking care of that meditation. It's the way that you can move from this feeling and move into this feeling. And the way is through a spiritual practice. It's through acknowledging your own stillness. About once or twice a year, Joy and I do a silent or a nearly silent retreat. We actually have a nearly silent retreat coming up in Crestone, Colorado in October, where we sit in the stillness, because this is the feeling that we want. This this is the feeling that we know. And there's ways that you can have an emotional clearing practice, an emotional clearing program. It is, um, it again, this is is the intention of what we're looking into. Um, Now, how do you get that? How do you get there? First of all, sit in the stillness. I hear it from people all the time. I can't meditate. I'm too busy. My mind is too busy. Everyone can meditate. And the way you meditate is to not get caught up in the rules and regulation of the meditation. Not get caught up in, well, I have to light a candle, I have to light incense, I have to sit in a certain position in my chair, I have to cross my legs, I have to put my bum on the floor, I have to get my bum off the floor, I've got to keep my back straight. No, stop, breathe, close your eyes or not, it doesn't matter. I actually have a mask that a friend of mine introduced me to, that covers the face, and you can open your eyes during the meditation. And I didn't realize it helps you go deeper in. My color changed all of a sudden, didn't it? It- you know, so that's an example of a distracted thought while you're meditating. When you all of a sudden you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, my color changed all of a sudden." It changed back. Just to make sure that you're aware that everyone has those distracting thoughts, even the Dalai Lama. However, the Dalai Lama gets up every day about 4 o'clock in the morning and sits in stillness for 2 or 3 hours. Now, I'm not asking you to sit in stillness for 2 or 3 hours. I'm asking you to set a timer on your phone if you've got that, or set a timer somewhere else that's a nice little bell or something. We like Insight Timer because it shows you how many thousands of people are meditating with you. It's an app on a smartphone, Insight Timer. Um, and uh, when you breathe into the stillness, first you time it so you can let go of how long you've been there. And then you just focus on your breathing, slowing your heart rate down. And what we actually have learned, Joy and I just recently took a course with Greg Braden and Howard Martin about heart math. And we learned coherence and the difference that it makes. And now, every time we gather, every time we meet with our team, we try our best to go into coherence before we do anything else. Um, and, I'd actually like us to go into coherence now, um, so you can feel what it feels like. And the best person, you know, when Joy and I were at a business conference, they had a company called Brain Tapping. And we both did this test on brain tapping. And they talked about coherence, but Joy's figured it out, this coherent thing. She has the stress level, the age level of a 33-year-old. And she's not 33. She looks it. I have the stress level and the energy of a 45 or 49-year-old, and I'm not 45 or 49 either. But the key is coherence. So we're going to actually go into coherence right now, and we're going to youthen you for the next few moments, okay? So if you're driving, don't close your eyes, but follow Joy's voice if when you're listening to this. But follow Joy's voice and see if you can accommodate that energy with you. Okay, Joy?
Thank you, Marilyn. You know, one of the things I've learned recently that makes the act of going into coherence, between your heart and brain is basically what you're doing is aligning your energetic signal between your heart and brain, is that it allows you to be resilient. It allows you to be able to deal with any situation and not go into that knee-jerk reaction, like the brain was showing, the picture that Marilyn showed. And I think that is one of the key things about making it a habit of going into coherence, because the more you go into coherence, you start to notice that the less things bother you, the more resilient you are. I mean, how beautiful would it be if the whole planet could go into coherence on a regular basis and when things get stressful? So here's how it works for those of you who have never done this before. It's very simple. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do it. And I certainly wouldn't make it a habit. It's like the awareness bracelet. It has to be super, super simple for me to do it. So resilience or coherence is basically, the way it works is you slow down your breathing. And I'm going to lead you in just a second, but I want to explain. You slow down your breathing, which slows down your heart rate. And then what you do is you imagine that you're actually breathing through your heart, which is different than, breathing through your lungs. But you imagine that your breath is coming in and out of your heart. And after you do that for, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 minutes, you just go to this sense of peace. Nothing can rattle you. So I'll take you there the way that I do it. Basically, what you want to do is take a deep breath. And then release it. And again. release it. And again. And release it. So that's the pattern right there. You're trying to get about 5 or 6 seconds between taking the breath and releasing it. And the more steady you get, I've found, because I have a little device that actually tells me when I'm in coherence, Marilyn and I do, the more steady you get, the quicker you go into coherence. That's what I think it's measuring. So then what you do is, and we'll do this again, once you get into that rhythm of 5 or 6 seconds between each breath, you think of something that makes you really happy, you know, and I'll share with you what I think of. It's kind of silly, but I have a dog that I absolutely love, and she loves to play ball. And so we go out and we play ball, but she gets tired after a little while, and she'll take the ball and she'll go about 100 feet away from me, and she'll lay down and she'll gnaw on the ball, chew on the ball, looking at me, smiling, and her tail wags like a dune buggy flag. I mean, it just cracks me up every time I think about it. And so that's what I do, is I go into, I imagine that, and that's what takes me into coherence. So let's do it together right now. Take a deep breath in. And let it go. And in. Let it go. Breathe in. And out. And in. And out. And in that rhythm, in and out, start to visualize that happy feeling. In. See it in your mind's eye as if you can actually feel it in your body. And in. And out. And as you get that image, in, imagine that you're breathing through your heart. That breath is going in through your heart and out through your heart. Oh, very good. I mean, we could go on for a while, but I think you get the idea. It just takes you to this very present moment and sense of peace where, you know, all of your attention is going to your heart. And one other thing that I forgot to tell you before Marilyn comes back is it also helps, if you're like me, I have a short attention span, which is why I wear the bracelet. If you're like me, it helps to touch your heart. You know, just take like the points of your fingers and just touch your heart. And that brings your awareness to your heart. Thanks.
Thank you. I feel so much better. You know, that just going into that coherence, whenever things feel like they're a little odd or uncomfortable or anything, you know, while I'm in town, I'm spending a lot of time with my mom. She's noticed a difference in her breathing, and she's 95. So if she can do it, anybody can do it. You know, it is. So that's number two. That's, you know, a tool that you can use to. Um, do I have an echo? Do you have your sound on?
You're good. I don't hear an echo.
Okay, good, good. If anybody else does, please tell Joy. But it is so amazing what just dropping into that coherence is. And, you know, when things are challenging, that stress is the key cause for the plaque in the arteries, the key cause for, some people say that it's genetics. No. um, you know, the number one reason, life threatening mistake that people make in their lives that keep them sick, that keep them in pain, that keep them challenged, uh, is, believe it or not, they never ask, or the core cause of the energy, that the emotional core that is causing the illness. If you've studied Louise Hay, or you've studied, Dr. Sheely or Carolyn Mace, or any intuitive healing practitioner, um, they still go to the emotional core as a cause. I was working with someone on uh, a physical challenge. I'm not going to mention what that challenge is, because I don't want to have people that I've worked with say, "Was that me?" But we were on a physical challenge, and this person just could not go into the emotional core. They could not go into the cause of that illness. So therefore, it wasn't working. I was working with another person, and we were working on their challenge, and they discovered, the soul of a child that was still with them, that was affecting their body physically, that they hadn't had a child, they hadn't had that for years and years and years. And so we never know what that core cause is, but there's one way that we really can find out, and that's to work in the Akashic records. And that, lots of people will teach you how to go into the Akashic records. It's been my information that in the last few months, maybe the last year, the way you go into the Akashic records is completely different than the way you used to go into the Akashic records. If you don't know what the Akashic records are, the Akashic records are every thought, idea, event, situation, experience, life that you have ever had from the moment of your existence in this lifetime or any other lifetime. A lot of people go into other lifetimes. If you don't believe in other lifetimes, that's okay. They're all happening in this lifetime as well as other lifetimes. Everything that happens to you recurs emotionally every 7 years. So until you get it, until you understand it, until you get that core, and then it stops happening. People that have, they seem to have a chronic illness all the time. They seem to have an emotional breakdown every so often. They have a pattern or a habit. They select partners, sweethearts that are unavailable for a relationship, or maybe they pick abusive partners, or maybe they always pick jobs that are unfulfilling. Those are all habits and patterns that we learn somewhere along the line. And as we learn those somewhere along the line, what's happening is the body is creating a protective energy around that emotion. Um, you know, uh, Problems with the arteries are about hanging on to old programs, hanging on to old feelings instead of allowing the flow to go through. Um, as I said, cancer is about old anger. I've been working with my mother with diverticulosis, which is a bulge in her um, intestines that um, collects debris, or a bulge in her colon that collects stuff. So it's about holding on to old stuff. It's about whole and when she started when we talked about that, that's when it started to move. That's when it started to get release the pain. That's when I'm not holding on to any old stuff. She won't call it anything else. Uh, but you know, there's an emotional core to everything. So in holographic healing level 2, we're all going to go into our own Akashic records and go in as many times as we need to and can to understand how those record keepers work, to understand what we do with that information when we get it, and to understand how that effectiveness can be cleared and rewritten. Does that make sense? Am I echoing again? Okay. You don't know, Joy. I wasn't echoing before. So, okay, excellent. If I start echoing, somebody tell us. Um, uh, so, what I would like, Joy, did you write down any of the ailments that people had, but that they typed in?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them here.
Can you read them off to me real quick? Some of them?
Let's see.
Inflammation.
Weight. There's a lot of weight. Getting rid of weight. Hypothyroidism. Lower back pain. Hip challenges. Hypertension and vision. Osteoporosis in lower spine and right hip.
What was the one right before you read osteoporosis?
Hypertension and vision.
Vision.
There's several vision, myself included. Chronic pain and degenerative disc disease. Lungs. Poor digestion and weight gain. Loving kindness with my husband at all times. That wasn't me. Allergies. Pain along the neck and shoulder bone. Circulation. MS and spine injury. Muscle pain and neck pain.
Okay, that's good.
Tired, extremely tired.
Tired, fatigue.
Yeah. There's more.
Can you see them?
Yeah.
I noticed when somebody said allergies, my nose started to run.
Of course.
Go ahead.
Inflammation. Let's see. I'm doing what I tell people not to put things in the chat window. Let's see. Strong body, weight loss, better eating habits, sagging muscles, crepey skin, dark spotting on cheeks, AFib, I'm not sure what that is, sleep apnea, arthritis, varicose veins, staying calm and trusting the universe. I love that. Bladder, yeast, candida. That's it.
Well, that's great. Those are wonderful. When we do the course Holographic Healing 2, I'll actually have a questionnaire that people will fill out. So because we're going to work right with the people that are registered.
What's yours, Marilyn?
Uh, well, I have been diagnosed with sleep apnea, and so I'm working on that. I have a, obviously I'm having a thyroid opportunity, and I work with my weight, and I have mastered it to a point this year, and have done something this year that I've never done before in the last 7 years. So I'm working with that. So we can help with all of it. But what we're going to do is we're going to move from our imagination. I'm going to take us into a meditation in the next few minutes, and it's going to be like a microwave meditation. In the next few minutes, we're going to go into the Akashic, your own personal Akashic records, and we're going to pull up a cause for whatever you listed here. I'm not going to list these out. You know what you pointed to in your mind, and we're going to go to the cause, and we're going to move from our imagination into our Akashic records and see if we can see a core cause. And then we'll see what we're told to do about that. Okay?
Okay.
So take a deep breath and go back into the coherence of your heart. So this is perfect that we just went into coherence. So breathe deeply and slowly. Take another deep breath in. If it helps you to touch your heart, and feel that image of that love center, that image of what really helps you feel that love. And it is our intention that we are going to each go into the Akashic records for each person that is on this call with us tonight and each person that listens in the future. And we're going to go into the Akashic records for this lifetime or any other lifetime, and we're just going to allow our imagination to just create what the Akashic record keepers might look like. And we're going to imagine our record keepers in the great hall of Akash. And we go in a centered, balanced way, and we imagine what it feels like to be totally safe in our hall of Akash. And we're just going to ask our record keepers to help. And we're going to hold one intention, maybe the one that we wrote into the chat window. Weight, inflammation, hypothyroid, hip problems, hypertension, osteoporosis, vision problems, digestive, lung disorders, muscle, spine, whatever is your ailment. whatever you seem to experience as a physical response to life that doesn't serve you any longer. And we're going to be asked to show us each the core experience that set that ailment up. We may imagine it. It may be something that was before you had words. You may just sense pictures or colors. Whatever you sense is correct. And we're going back into this life or any other life. So if you have a specific challenge, we're asking your Akash to show you, and you can use your imagination, exactly where that challenge began the first time. What was the situation? Look down and look around you and see all the details that you can. Are you young? Are you old? Are you watching it like a movie? You're not experiencing it emotionally. You're sensing it. Ask the great hall of Akash to show you one thing you can do now to make a difference in that challenge. Breathe into that information, and even if you don't seem to sense anything specific, know that the hall of Akash is communicating with you, your psyche anyway. So take a deep breath and come back to the present. And when you can, open your eyes. So that's a little like a glimpse into your Akash. I know that there were several people that had trouble getting there because we like went in and went out. And some people went in very deeply. I kind of kept you tethered. So know that once you find, and I would say to go in again. Yeah, wow, that's way cool. Yay, good. Um, I would say to go in again and again. It's been my experience that the more times you go into the Akashic records with your intention, the better you get at it. And that's kind of what holographic healing is. And that's the number one way to avoid aging or de-age and to relieve yourself of illness is to work from the standpoint to get to the core in the Akashic records. In holographic healing 1, we did the physical. We went into the physical body and we rearranged in the physical body. Holographic healing 2 is now going in to the combination of the connection of getting from the physical body into the emotional body. The emotional body is really the foundation of the imbalance. It's really the core. So that's why we're extending this over 5 weeks, this next course. So, but you can listen to this recording and go into the Akashic records over and over and over with us. I'd really like to do is to tell you a little bit about our class, though. Um, it it's a and everybody's coming back in their bodies. Everybody's like out in la la land, and we're so uh, maybe I saw some comments come through down here. Does anybody want to share their experience, or are there any comments? Joy, did you say you had went somewhere? I did.
Yeah, I saw something I've never seen before. I
What
always ask.
was it?
Well, I saw a broken mirror. It was like a handheld mirror, and it was broken. And I was like, okay, I see the broken mirror, but what does it mean? And then just then you said ask, and it meant that I didn't like my own reflection. I
Ah.
didn't like seeing my own reflection.
So was that this lifetime or was that another lifetime?
It felt like another lifetime. It felt like a very old woman was looking at the mirror. It
Wow.
gave me chills. It was like, and it was so quick.
Wow. Uh,
Yeah.
and I know we teach a class called Leveraging Your Akash, and uh, that's that's one of the things that we teach is how to go in quickly, see what you need to see, and come back out with a nugget of information that you can use. In that's what we're going to do in holographic healing. Is it okay if I share a little bit about our class because I'm so excited? I guess it is because nobody's saying no.
I would say yes.
We have holographic healing level 2 is is as a standalone class. It is not connected to level 1, even though the two can work cohesively together. If you took level 1, then level 2 will maybe be a bit easier. Level 2 is all about the emotional body. It's all about going into your own personal emotional core. It's not about you having to share your emotional core and go all out with everybody. I mean, people could, but that's not what it's about. It's about you going inside personally, learning how to read the Akashic records like zippity doo dah, like very quickly, and then connect, find the core of your illness, and then ask and see what it is that you get the opportunity to do to shift that consciousness. It's 5 weeks. It's going to be Monday night and Wednesday and Saturday morning because some people are better in the morning and some people are better at night. Um, it's going to have a module every week, and each module is going to accomplish something different. First, if we're going to go into the Akashic records as many times as we can, so you each get very confident in going into the. Oh, I see somebody saw 2 lifetimes. Yay! uh, eh, we're going to get very confident in going into the Akashic records because one of the things that I've discovered that causes us to sort of give our power away to all the you know people in the world that are doing what I'm doing is we're not confident in what we're seeing. And many times it takes somebody from the outside to confirm what it is that we're seeing. Well, in the first week, we're going to help you learn that confidence. In the second week, we're going to help you learn to trust what it is that you're seeing, sensing, feeling, hearing, and knowing, and how you get your information. Everybody gets their information differently. Some people see videos, some people hear words, some people sense stories. I always say, when I go into the Akashic records, I always look around to see all the details. If I look around and I see, bark and forest and all of that, I uh, that simply helps it be more real, and it helps me realize, okay, this occurred and that occurred. So it's no wonder. Like I went into during this meditation, I went into a time when my lungs were cut off while I was sleeping. And, might have something to do with the apnea that I've been diagnosed with. Also, pay attention to how I said that. The apnea that I've been diagnosed with, not my sleep apnea. That's something else that we'll learn. We'll learn about the language and how to language things. We'll learn about having tools to use, etheric tools that we will then go into the physical body using the emotional core. That's the third week. Go into the physical body using the emotional core and what to do about that. And the fourth week is you will learn how to trust everything that you're sensing, seeing, feeling, hearing, knowing, and without your ego getting involved. That's a trick. Without your ego getting involved. And then we're going to uh, uh, bring it all together in the final week, and you all will teach, you all will experience everything. The classes are going to be pretty quick, an hour and a half on the evening class and 45 minutes on the morning class. I mean, at 45 minutes we're stopping just because people have to go to work, they have to, and most of the time when you offer a class like this, if you were going to take a class from Carolyn Mace, who is a health intuitive, I was going to take one of her classes once. Level one was like $1,595. Level two was another $2,000, and then you were still not certified. This is actually a part of a certification course. Uh, if you were going to take a course with Dr. Sheely, it would be thousands of dollars, and you would be 4 years in the making. Uh, this course we're offering, it's a 5-week course, 10, 15 classes for $595. Now, with the course, you get the first 50 who register get a private session with me, a half-hour session with me and Adironnda. um, you get the recording cellular healing because it brings you in. You also get the recording, which is not something that we did, is that I'm just now thinking of it, the Leverage Your Akash class, because it's a recording, and I didn't tell Joy about that. Oops. The leverage, the Akash, the recording that we did, we've done it several times lately. So you'll get that recording, and what that does is takes you in and out and in and out and in and out of the Akashic records. Um, uh, and just for listening to this uh, class tonight, and just for getting the bracelet and focusing and committing to meditation and committing to finding your own health, we're going to give you a bonus also to have a bit of a, because we love the numbers. And 595 is a great number. But if you put in a promo code to ACT FAST, all in capital letters, ACT FAST, all in capital letters, you will get the course for 444 because we love the numbers. That's the angel's number, 444. And you can divide it up into payments that are comfortable for you. If you were going to go to a traditional doctor, uh, uh, for one time, you would have more than $100 in a month. And this may keep you from going to that traditional doctor. I worked with someone, in fact, on a landing page that Joy will probably send you. I worked with someone that worked with their degenerative disc. The doctor said you have to have an epidural, you have to have a surgery, you have to do all of this stuff. And we worked for a few weeks, and she didn't have to have it. She's out of pain, still out of pain. Um, and that was, several months ago, like a half a year, almost a year ago. This course will teach you how to do that for yourself or for someone else if you want to get certified. Holographic Healing Level 2 takes the emotional body and moves it into the physical body. It helps you see remote view. We teach techniques in remote viewing, helps you see inside of the body like a hologram, and then helps you learn what to do in relationship to rearrange the plaque that you might have in your arteries, to rearrange the discs in your spine, to rearrange your pancreas so it is accommodating to your insulin level, to rearrange your liver so it's not carrying around your anger anymore. to That's what the course is. And I know the summer is like, what do you mean? It's the summer, it's before school. There's all kinds of excuses that a person can have for not doing it. However, this is the only time it's going to be offered live that I'm aware of. And you get to spend 3 times a week with me and maybe with me and Joy. and we will deal with all of the things on this list. We will deal with each person and go in and see how the rest of the group can help. It's a confidential course, of course, uh, and it's just magnificent.
But here's the thing, you want to be sure to use the code ACT FAST, ACTFAST, one word, all caps, because that's going to give you, I think it's, Marilyn, she puts me through, I jump hoops around her because she wants it to be 444. So it's like 25.3% off of the $595 price. And all the bonuses and things that she talked about are listed on that page, except for the Akashic records. I'll have to go and add that, but I will definitely add it to the fulfillment page. And by the way, that offer is good until August 1st. The class starts Monday, July 31st, but people always register a few days later. We understand that, and we're not, it just doesn't feel right to us to say, you have to get it right now. But Marilyn's time is extremely limited, and that's why we have to limit the private sessions to the first 50 people who register. So if you're interested in doing it, jump online and get registered.
I'm just looking at the question. No, Holographic Healing 2 is not dependent upon Holographic Healing 1. Is it dependent to be certified? If you want to be certified in Holographic Healing, then eventually you will get the opportunity to take both classes. And I'm looking at the comments. They're just amazing on the where we went. Wow.
Yeah.
And we'll learn how to go in much more deeply and see what to do about that.
So thank you so much for joining us on this webinar. We know, as Marilyn said, your time is the most valuable thing that you have, and we really appreciate you spending it with us tonight or on the replay. And I learned some pretty cool things. I didn't know that thing about the thyroid, Marilyn.
I know. And that's just the beginning. Keep in mind that the class is a bit organic in some of the ailments that we deal with, and so there'll be a questionnaire. So we'll deal with your ailments, and we'll go in as deep as what we can go in. And I've been using this technique for about 10 years or longer, 20 years. And having, I've just now categorized it so I can teach it. And it have had miraculous results. I will never forget the time that Joy watched it. Um, Someone called about their daughter who was a special needs child and couldn't communicate. And I was able to go into her Akash immediately while he was on the phone, and he didn't even believe in the Akash. I was able to go in there, see that the daughter had a fungal infection of the blood. He went to the doctor, said she's got a fungal infection of the blood. They had never tested for that, and they were able to get her taken care of. So it was pretty cool. And you'll be able to do the same thing. It is not because I have some special talent or skill. Um, Although I do have Adironnda. And Adironda's saying, the time is up and we don't even have any time here. And that's another advantage to the class is I limit my private sessions except to you all during this time. And I am very more available than normal on email and on the telephone to answer your questions, to work with you, to help you any way I can. I feel really strongly. I saw, so act fast, all capital letters. Act
That's
fast
right.
is promotional code. And when you come to the screen that's got all your contact information, that's where you put the promotional code in. If you have any problems, just let me know.
Thank you, Marilyn. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. It just, I always love when we do webinars. I love the double digit each month because we get to connect with our people. And, doesn't the energy always feel so good when we're all together online?
It does. That's why I love the convergence, is we all get to be together in person. The Visionaries in
Yeah.
Light convergence in September. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Joy, for everything that you see online, every email. Joy did that.
Yeah, even those ones that are mistakes, like the ones that went to you even though you already bought the bracelet, that was me. I'm still learning.
And if you read an email that is not in correct English, that was me. Anyway, we will see you all Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time in the U.S.
And
Anything else?
as we say at Adironnda, namaste, y'all. Namaste.
Namaste, y'all. Namaste. Love you both. Love you. Love you guys. Namaste.
Mwah.
Mwah.